What is going on, guys? What is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome to today's session with your boy Abel. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys as usual. But family, go ahead and drop those locations in the chat because we are live right now. And we're back with another phenomenal stream for tonight. And hopefully, as usual, we can go ahead and give you guys a little bit more value just to get you guys closer to your ultimate goal of becoming a profitable trader. Right, but go ahead and drop those locations in the chat, family. Let's see who we have in the building today. I see we got Wisconsin in the house. We got the boot. We got Philly in the building. What is up? Baltimore, what is going on? Las Vegas, Vermont, Arkansas, Milwaukee in the building. Houston, Cali, Jamaica, Raleigh, North Carolina. What's up, Otis? We got Baltimore. We got Nigeria in the building with us today as well. And like I said, guys, super excited to be here with every single one of y'all. Let me just see. All right, perfect. We are good to go. All right, let's see what else we got in the building today, guys. We got African Nambia in the building. We got Oklahoma City, Grenada, London, Twin City, Arkansas on the check-in as well. But let's go ahead and get straight into the value today, straight into the sauce. But before we even do get into that, right? How many of you guys were on yesterday's call? Right? How many of you guys were actually on yesterday's call, family? Let me know. All right, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys were. All right, shout out to you, Erwin. What's going on? Shout out to Raleigh, North Carolina in the building. Melbourne, Australia. What's going on, George? Good to see you in the chat as well, my brother. Right, but yeah, guys, yesterday's call was absolutely next level. Right, like the value that was given, guys, from 4 different traders was absolutely next level. Right, I was able to take some notes yesterday. And I was able to learn a few new things my damn self. Right? So if you guys did not actually catch yesterday's stream, I highly recommend you guys to go ahead and do that, family, because again, you're able to see, get a perspective of these markets, guys, from 4 different traders, right? Not just myself, but I did actually have a few guests on, right? I had the young man, the myth, the lion, Mr. Kyle Prasad, right? Mr. Teenage Trader himself. I had Mr. Skaggs, the GOAT, in the building, and also had Mr. Wall Street Ray, right? I had, again, some phenomenal traders, guys, that I could literally, put my name behind because I see what they've done. Right? So, again, they dropped massive value yesterday, guys. So, please, if you guys did not catch yesterday's stream, take some time out to go catch that. Fair warning, it is a longer stream, right? It is about 2.5 to 3 hours long. But I promise you, after watching that thing, you're going to be like, whoa. This was nuts, right? So that's just one quick update, guys. Please make sure to go ahead and rewatch yesterday's video because it was absolutely off the chain. Yeah, it was amazing, right? But let's go ahead and get into it today, guys. See what pretty much has happened in terms of news, in terms of data over the past 24 hours. And then we'll go ahead and get into the actual charts, guys, and see what the markets have done over the past 24 hours, right? One thing that I can tell y'all is that exactly what I told you guys, what I was expecting from last night's call, right? What I was expecting even to start off the week is pretty much doing exactly what we've been expecting, right? And like I said, we're going to get into all that, guys, in a few. But let's see what we had on the radar for today, guys. So we did actually have the interest rate decision, guys, for the ECB, which they were expected to raise rates 0.75%, which is exactly what they actually ended up doing. They did end up raising rates 0.75%. Right, so this could definitely have brought some short-term strength, guys, for the euro, just off of this data itself, right? Because obviously as interest rates are going up, typically the currencies usually could gain some type of value off of interest rates going up, right? So very simple, guys. Interest rates going up, the fiat currencies start to gain demand, right? Demand for fiat currency, right, goes through the roof when we are in a hawkish cycle, right? When we are in a cycle, guys, of these central banks raising rates, right? So you should always keep that in mind. That is a very, very powerful nugget for you guys to really understand, right? As long as we are in a hawkish cycle, right, which again, hawkish just means that the central bank is more inclined to raise rates, then we have to assume that these currencies are also going to gain strength off of that. Okay, so that's something just to be aware of, guys. But yeah, overall, we did see that actually come out, which is very, very interesting. Now, initial jobless claims, guys, also did come out. It actually did come out lower than what was expected. It is what it is. Nothing too crazy though. Right now, there is a few things, guys, that actually came out as well in terms of press conferences. We did have a press conference from Jerome Powell, and then we also had President Lagarde that was also speaking today, which For the most part, I was expecting a lot of volatility in the markets, which there was a little bit of volume that picked up, but nothing too crazy overall, right? And then we obviously finishing out with that crude oil inventories, guys, and the actual major news events that went down for today. Okay, so that's pretty much what we dealt with today. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what we got for tomorrow as well, just so that we are aware. So for tomorrow, guys, there's only one major news event on the actual calendar, and that's going to be for the Canadian dollar, the employment change, right? So this could have some type of influence, guys, overall on the CAD as a whole, right? But that's pretty much what we're looking at overall in terms of data, guys, for today, right? Now let's go ahead and get straight into the actual charts and see exactly what has been happening, right? Now, I believe I told you guys this at the beginning of the week, right? I think I told you, I'm pretty sure I told you guys this at the beginning of the weeks, right? That I was expecting some short-term bearishness to come in. Right now, again, keep in mind, guys, right? We know, all of us know, and if you don't know, right, we have been extremely bullish, guys, the US dollar for quite some time, right? For the past year and a half now, right? And we're still gonna continue to remain bullish, at least for me. I'm still very much long-term bullish. But what we could be experiencing right now, guys, is a deeper pullback before we end up continuing to the upside. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Let me see. I don't know if it's just mine, but the volume is low. Let me actually see. Give me 1 second. Let me just, because I actually was messing around with the volumes. Let me just check it on my end. I mean, it sounds loud on my end. All right, it sounds loud on my end. Let me actually go ahead and fix this real quick. Let me go ahead and take this off. This should make it a little bit louder. All right. All right, that should have made it a little bit louder for you guys. Hopefully it made it a little bit louder for you guys. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, that's gonna be the best way that I could do it, guys, overall. But let's go ahead and get into this again. So for the dollar itself, guys, even though we are still long-term very much bullish, in my opinion, we are looking to be due for a pullback, right? And that's pretty much what I told you guys yesterday as well, guys. When we were actually on the call yesterday, I told you guys that at this point, just looking at what structure is doing, looking at what price action is doing, I expected the market to actually probably start to pull back. Like these arrows, guys, are ones that, again, I actually did with you guys yesterday as well. I just did this one now, but I told you guys on last night's call that I expected the dollar, guys, to possibly start to actually lose some strength now, right? At least for the short term, right? The short term being, over the next week or so, possibly even into next week. We realistically could start to see, guys, some more selling pressure coming into play for the dollar as a whole, right? Like I really want to see, guys, the US dollar possibly come all the way back down to around this 106, 107 level. Okay, so we're at right now at 109, right? 109.09, right? I really think that we can make we can make it all the way back down to around that 107 level is realistically, guys, where I think we can target, and then from down there we could possibly find some more demand for the dollar to go ahead and continue in the overall trend that we've pretty much been experiencing for some time now, right? So yeah, everything that I said last night is pretty much still working out, is playing out exactly how we spoke about it. We are now seeing this break, right? This break of the moving average, guys, this break of structure right here. So we clearly are having a lot of selling pressure on the dollar. And the fact that we are seeing it right now as well is big, because we're also starting to break some structure points, right? We are starting to see, breaks of structures right now, right? Which is a clue telling us that, yeah, we could see, more downside for sure, right? Just by seeing this type of momentum, seeing these breaks of structures, seeing these breaks of key levels, guys, is giving us evidence or clues of what we can actually expect, next, pretty much, right? So, yeah, we do have 40 minutes for this 4-hour candle actually ends up closing, but, if we stay like this, guys, then yeah, expect more downside once again for the dollar, right? Now, why is this important, right? And why are we even analyzing something like the DXY? Well, it's because the DXY, guys, is at the end of the day the currency reserve of the world, right? It's the strongest currency in the world, so it's going to hold the most weight, right? It's going to hold a lot of. There's a lot of decisions that are made, guys, and we can make a lot of decisions based off what the heck the dollar is doing as a whole, right? So if I'm expecting a weaker dollar, right, or a bearish dollar, very simply put, guys, this is how I will be playing these things, right? So if I have a pair that begins in USD, right, I'm gonna be expecting this pair to go down, right? If I have a pair that, ends in USD, then I'm gonna be expecting this pair to actually go up, right? This is literally exactly how I would absolutely be playing this, right? Is literally utilizing what I think is gonna happen next in terms of the dollar, right? And then understanding how the correlation, right? Explaining how the correlation, guys, between the dollar itself against these pairs and how it's actually going to go ahead and play out, right? So again, it's very important, guys, for us to understand what, and for me, at least the way that I like to do it, right? I always like to make sure that, guys, I understand what the dollar is going to do in terms of direction or strengths or weaknesses, and then I understand exactly what other currencies are going to do across the board as well, right? So but that's pretty much what my bias is. I'm expecting some more weakness, guys, coming up overall. And we'll just take advantage of it as the opportunities present themselves for the dollar itself. All right, but let's see what else we got here. We got Cincinnati in the building. TJ, what's going on, TJ? Good to see you in the chat. Let's see, might be bearish till CPI. Yeah, you might actually be right, Lord Trini. Right, you might be right, because again, right now, if we really look at price action, guys, what have we seen? We've seen a very strong push up, but ever since we've seen this strong push up for the dollar, I mean, it's been very, very choppy. Right, extremely choppy, and normally this is usually going to lead towards a reversal back down, right? Because of how choppy and how there's really not that much momentum, guys, in these higher highs that are being created, right? These higher highs, guys, are really nothing too crazy, right? So that is usually going to lead towards a breakdown to the downside, and that's exactly what we're seeing. But yeah, right now, I think we are going to probably be bearish until we get some type of a catalyst, right? Some type of a news event that, causes us to really go back to the upside, because the demand for the dollar just increases overall. So overall, it's looking good, though, right? Either way, we can still absolutely take advantage of it. I want to see it down to around the 107, 106 level, guys, for now, for the dollar itself, right? So I'm going to be short-term bearish for right now. So that's how I'm going to position myself overall. All right, let's see, man. George, you're always showing massive love, George. I appreciate that so much, man. Let's see. Hey, King, can you please explain the oil inventories news and what it means in simple terms and what it means to possible oil price? Yeah, for sure. We'll actually do that right now, actually, right? So we actually did have some very interesting news come out, guys, earlier with oil inventories, right? Crude oil inventories, and there was actually a massive beat in projections. Right, so they were expecting, guys, right? And this, again, crude oil inventories, let's actually go into it so you guys can know exactly what this actually is. And I want to give you guys the exact definition, too, of what it actually measures. But obviously, in simple terms, it's measuring the amount of inventory that we have, right? But let's see. The Energy Information Administration's crude oil inventories measures the weekly change in the number of barrels of commercial crude oil held by U.S. firms, right? So, again, the prediction, what was forecasted, was that they were actually going to come out negative, right, in terms of how much oil was actually being held. They absolutely destroyed that prediction, right? This shows, guys, that there was massive amount of supply. There was way more supply available than everybody expected, at least in what the actual analysts were expecting, right? So this added supply can do what now, right? When we find something, and it's just how I'm interpreting this actual news itself, right? 'Cause this news actually came out at 11 o'clock, right? And what did the market do when the news actually came out? It really didn't do too much. Oil, right? Pretty much just whiplashed and been going sideways. But overall, this is showing, guys, that we actually had an increase in the amount of supply that they thought was actually available, right? So depending on the demand for it, obviously that could dictate whether this is going to go up or not. But we actually did have a massive amount of supply, right? A massive amount of supply where the demand itself is clearly not as strong as it used to be, because we have been going lower and lower for pricing on oil, right? So when we already have demand that's been shrinking with an added amount of supply, what do we think can happen next, guys, right? Like this should be like more so, I'm not going to say common sense, right? Because this is definitely something that takes a little time to learn, but when we already have shrinking demand, but then we had an influx in supply, what should we expect to do? Should we expect oil to go up, or should we expect oil to go down because of this data? What do you guys think? Answer that in the chat, guys. What do you guys think? And let me see. We got Trinidad in the building. Shout out to you guys out there in Trinidad. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Historically, during the date of Fed funds rate, the dollar is bearish. Yep. I seen that too. Starts at least wacky last week in advance of actual announcement, then done correcting about a week after, right? Yeah, that's some great information to have, Desmond. Let's see. So gas goes down finally, right? Yep. Let's see. Please, sir, how does the death of the Queen of England affect the pound rally or drop, right? We'll get into that for sure. Right, so again, when it comes to oil, remember, keep this in mind, guys, right? We can see that the demand for oil has been going down since June, right? When oil was all the way up at 120 back in June, ever since, you know, the demand has obviously been decreasing, which is why we've been seeing lower pricing. But if we already have shrinking demand, but then we had an influx of supply, that's more so not going to probably continue to lead for lower pricing here, guys, on oil, right? Just correlating the data on what is being said and using that to figure out what can actually happen, right? So I'm possibly going to expect, guys, more continuations lower for oil, just based off the data itself, and it's just staying with the overall bias and the overall trend that we've pretty much been in already, right? So where can we actually look for an entry from, right, if we wanted to actually go ahead and enter this? Well, I would be interested in looking for maybe around these levels, guys, around this 86.50. Right, maybe around this 86.50 we might be able to find some opportunities for lower pricing here on oil, right? But overall, I would just be looking for some shorts overall here, just staying with the overall bias and the overall trend that we've pretty much been experiencing so far. So when it comes to oil, but that's what we got for oil overall, guys. Again, very interesting though. So hopefully that made sense for you, George, though, and hopefully I broke it down in a way that makes sense. All right, so let's go ahead and see now, guys, besides the dollar, right? Because like I said, I'm going to keep my bias on the dollar. I do believe we're going to continue to see a lower pricing here, but let's go ahead and look at opportunities that we can actually trade now, right? And what did I tell you guys last night as well? All right, last night, guys, when I was talking to you guys, I told y'all since I'm expecting a pullback on the dollar, I'm expecting a pullback on the euro, right? So this literally setup right here is literally the one that I actually created with you guys last night. Right, like I didn't touch this at all today, guys, for the euro, right? In fact, if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I didn't even trade today, right? I pretty much stayed out the markets this entire day, right? And it's I don't even know, I don't have no exact reason why. I just really just didn't trade at all today, right? So all these markings that I actually have on my screen are pretty much this, you know, the same exact ones that we actually marked up together on last night's call. I told you guys last night that what I wanted to see for the euro was that I wanted to see price pull back down and then give us an opportunity to go long. Look exactly what happened, guys, right? I mean, we can't, like, we were on last night's call around here, right, way before this spike down happened. Okay, so if you would have seen this spike down, then obviously if you would have liked my bias and what I was saying, you could have called a crazy entry, right? Because it literally went right, like it would have been a crazy wick entry right here if you would have actually been able to grab that. But EURUSD is doing exactly what we expected, guys. Exactly what we spoke about. You know, we seen the break, we seen the pullback, or we wanted to see the pullback to then go ahead and continue. So now at this point, I think we do have just more upside to go. I want to show you guys this here on the weekly. Let me go ahead and actually delete everything real quick, because I want to show you guys pretty much what I'm going to be targeting now here, guys, on the weekly time frame, right? So we do have, you know, this big imbalance right here, guys, that I think is going to be a nice area where I believe there could be liquidity positioned in, right? So I think there is a good chance, guys, for price to realistically make its way, you know, inside of this little gap that we have here, right? So I'm definitely going to continue to target, you know, moves to the upside. In fact, I believe we could realistically make it all the way back up to this area of supply that we have up here. Okay, so overall, guys, I'm still looking for, at least for right now, possibly some more continuations to the upside on the euro. Again, I really want to see price make its way all the way up to around this, I would say the 1.02 level looks very juicy. 1.02, right? 1.025. Yeah, all right, that's where I like. I personally like, I like those areas right there for sure, right? So, you know, if we can see price make its way all the way up here, I would really be looking to sell the hell out of that, right? But that's a long ways to go. In the meantime, though, I would be looking to buy my way all the way up there. Okay, I do think we are going to make it up there. So I want to look for some opportunities to get in and be able to ride that out. All right, so now how can we get in now, right? I mean, the move's already moving. Nothing we can do now, right? This thing is already starting to push. But when we come up to this resistance point right here, because this is a resistance, we do have a chance to actually go ahead and bounce off of that. And then maybe price can go ahead and give us an opportunity to go ahead and get involved. All right, but where price is at right now, I'm not interested in it. All right, I'm not interested in it. All right, where price is at right now, I'm not interested in it because it's already pushing. Okay, so we will still need to see a pullback for them me see if I can go ahead and get involved, right? But overall, I'm just gonna be patient with the euro. Again, it did just pick up a lot of strength over the past few hours, so now we just gotta wait and see what the market does end up giving us. But do not be surprised if we actually end up, you know, if we could spike above this 1.01, I think we are gonna see a pullback down, and then that can be an opportunity for us to go ahead and get involved. Right, but that's pretty much my blueprint, guys. Right, again, there's nothing we can do right now, but as long as you guys can see my blueprint, as long as you guys can see exactly what we're looking for, and we can go ahead and absolutely take advantage of it, you know, as long as you're actually paying attention to it overall. Right, but yeah, you know, I do like this though. I do like more upside here for Euro USD, and it's doing exactly what we expected. Right, let's see, market pricing in that 75%. Yeah, exactly, that 75 basis points. You're 100% right. All right, I mean, it's finally now starting to, you know, price it in as well. And it's crazy how it lines up too with what we were already thinking. We were already expecting the market to pull back, and now obviously with these interest rate hikes that we are seeing for, you know, the Aussie, for the euro, right? You know, it just makes sense for right now the dollar to lose some value against these other currencies that are just now experiencing fresh hikes, right? So that's pretty much why, guys, again, I was expecting the pullback, but it just makes so much sense, and it's crazy how it lines up with interest rate decisions. And it just again, when you're able to really put those things together, it's just going to give you some confidence setups. And that's why I was looking for the move higher, right? It was because of all that. So overall, it looks good though. As things continue to go, guys, right? Let's go ahead and see what we got for gold. Right, let's see what we got for gold. Let's see, I'm in the exact trade. I caught 100 plus pips. Let's go. I'm in gold as well from 1705. Okay, right, that's a nice move, Jason. Let's get it. Let's see what else we got. I caught mean sell off USD Swiss. I'm 108 pips in profit. Okay, DTX, I see you, Jay. Right, I'll take a look at that too right after gold. I'll go take that out. All right, so let's go see what we got here for gold, guys. Now, again, remember what I told you guys. For me personally, I'm still long-term going to be wanting to sell gold long-term. But for right now, I do think we do have a chance for price to realistically actually pull back still. Right? I would really like to see gold, guys, make its way at least, I would say back, yeah, I would say probably all the way back up to these levels up here. Right? I could realistically see price make its way up here. Right? All the way up to around the 1740 levels. And just because, again, I do think right now we're going to be in a period of pulling back, at least for right now, short term. But long term, I still will eventually be looking for some shorts, right? But for right now, I think we do have some more upside. Now, I get it. You know, we're looking at structure. Structure is just very choppy right now, right? Really not doing too much. We're just trapped inside of this little range. But I don't know. It's just something that's telling me that I really think we have a good chance of actually making our way all the way up there. Right, that's just me, guys. Like, I really think that there's a good chance for that to happen. Right, I mean, especially from what we're doing right now. Like, look at this. The market really isn't doing much, right? We're literally just going sideways. Price is just going sideways, just accumulating. So do not be surprised if we do eventually break out of this, right? Maybe go ahead and capture liquidity from everybody that's jumping into sells early, and then go ahead and rebound and come back down and then continue that move lower. All right, get that nice little hesitation move higher. Right, that little fake out to the upside, and then go ahead and shift all the way back down. But I really do like the opportunity though to short it. We just got to find the actual entry itself. Okay, but for me, I don't know. I just think we are going to see a break up higher before we go. So I'll see what happens with that one either way. Again, I think I think it's setting up. What I would like to wait for gold though, right? If I would, because again, gold right now, we did see a nice little strong shift lower, but one thing that we could really check out, guys, and keep our eye on for gold itself is going to be pretty much this level right here. Wrong tool. right? If we could really just continue to respect this level right here that we actually just broke above, then I do think that there's really a good chance for price to continue, right? So even using that same exact area, guys, as maybe a re-entry area, right, might not be a bad play neither, right? Just because this area right here, guys, clearly in the past has shown, right, that it clearly likes to respect this level right here, right? So the fact that we were able to break back above it, right, is evidence, or it could be used as clues to give us a potential move to go higher, right? So maybe around the 1714, 1715, guys, it could be an opportunity for us to look for some entries to go ahead and ride this thing at least back up to, 1725. All right, so yeah, that actually doesn't look too bad. I'm actually gonna keep my eyes on this one for sure, right? I'm gonna keep my eyes on this gold, because like I said, man, if we can come back down to the 1714, 1715, I think that there's a good chance for us to find some support there and really go ahead and rebound back higher. Let's see. Wouldn't be surprised if gold sweeps below 1690. I mean, I think eventually we will sweep below that. I think eventually we will, right? But as long as the dollar itself, I believe the dollar is going to be pulling back, right? Again, as long as the dollar is dropping, right, then there's a good chance for gold to start gaining strength off of that, right? And since my bias right now is for us to experience more bearishness, more downside for the dollar, right, then that means that there's a good chance that we should experience, higher pricing in gold, right? Just because since the demand for the dollar is going to weaken, that could make the, obviously gold a lot more attractive, right? So that's just pretty much what we're looking at for gold, though. Again, that 1714, guys, keep your eyes on that 1714 level, right? That 1714 could really be a nice, interesting level for us to look for some nice longs from, right? So we'll see what happens after that overall for sure. All right, let's go take a look at that USD Swiss, right? I believe was a J, right? So you're selling this one. I mean, this thing is just still dropping. Look at this thing, right? This thing is just absolutely tanking, right? So yeah, I mean, this is obviously it's a good move, right? Because obviously, I mean, hindsight is 2020. We can clearly see that, yeah, it's a good move. But what's next now, right? I mean, we are at a level of structure. I mean, you're already up 100 plus pips, so you definitely should have been taking some profits off the table, right? But we are at a level of structure right now where it's going to be make or break. We could respect this level and see price bounce off it, or we could break it and then use that as more of a resistance to go ahead and push much lower, right? Because USD Swiss, guys, is literally just trapped inside of this little, looks like a huge flag, right? But we're just trapped inside of this little range right here. So if we break this little mid-level right here, then yeah, we could use it as a way to look for some shorts if we actually are able to go ahead and break this thing. And yeah, I'll ride it right back down to the bottom of this range. So that's USD Swiss. You never know. This could end up turning into a much longer trade for you if we can actually go ahead and clear this level. Right? We clear this level, Jay, it's game time. All right? We could realistically expect more downside for sure. All right, so that one does look good too, though. All right, let's go see what else we got here, guys. Let's go take a look at GJ. All right, now GJ itself, obviously, we really didn't get nothing too crazy from this level. We are at a major level of resistance after a 400 pip rise. Right, so again, still, I'm very patient for GJ. I told you guys yesterday as well, guys, that I was going to be sitting on my hands for this one, and I'm still going to be sitting on my hands for this one. Right, I need to see something else. Right, yeah, we might be able to start looking at lower time frames up here to see if we are having maybe some type of distribution forming that could eventually lead us to more downside. But other than that, it's just I'm still extremely bullish this thing, right? Extremely bullish. So I just want to wait for the right opportunity to actually go ahead and get involved. Now that we're seeing price obviously going ahead and making these moves back up to the highs, maybe push back down, towards this 165.7, right? Maybe that can even lead, for a possible entry for more continuation to the upside, right? It's very possible, right? If, by tonight, London session, by tomorrow morning, New York session, if GJ does end up pushing back down into these levels, guys, and if we can respect it, then I think that there is a good chance for more upside here for GJ as well, right? So yeah, it definitely does look good. Obviously I'm going to be a lot more patient now more than anything. Just because I really don't want to sell, right? Like I really do not want to look for sells unless I actually have like a lot of evidence for it. Just because there's a lot of bullish momentum here, right? And I don't want to be selling going against this massive momentum. I want to just be looking for the next opportunity to go ahead and ride the next big move, right? So that's pretty much what we're looking at overall, right? When it comes to actually, looking at GJ. Right, so let's see what happens overall, guys. And, we'll go from there. Let's see what else we got here. Has he talked about NAS? Let's go take a look at NAS real quick, right? So NAS, NAS is also very interesting, right? Very simply put, guys, for NAS 100, I would like to see it now at this point probably make its way all the way up to around the 13,000 level, right? I think at this point that's pretty much a good safe bet that we could probably make it to, right? Just looking at what price action has been doing, you know, we are seeing obviously this pause in the market, right? And then we've seen the rejection, we've seen the reversal actually come in on the daily. So I do see more upside, right? So I personally think that we could actually continue looking to buy NAS 100, at least for right now, guys, more so to continue riding this thing higher. You know, very simple. You know, we were in a very choppy market condition, and then overall the market just gained a lot of demand, and then we are pushing up. So I think, yeah, you know, looking for longs here, guys, will probably be the best bet for these indices overall. So where can we look for opportunities now from? Right, well, this area looks very interesting. Right, if we're able to see price come back down to these areas right here, guys, right, maybe come and retest this area of demand, then yeah, you know, that could be an opportunity to go ahead and really look for some longs here for NAS, right? But obviously we're gonna have to wait. You know, right now it's already pushing at these highs, so once we do get this thing to turn around, then we can go ahead and really look for opportunities to go long. Now, one thing that I want to bring up as well, guys, right? If you guys were on yesterday's call, the boy Kyle was speaking about sessions, right? This is one nugget that I actually got from Kyle that was just a bar, right? He was talking about, you know, hours of operation, right? And what your hours of operation are and how you treat this like a business, right? And if you were to treat this like a business, then you need to create yourself an hours of operation that you need to pretty much, you know, abide by and stick with every single time. Right, well, if you're trading NAS, right, if you're trading SPX, if you're trading US 30, right, if you're trading any of these indices, your hours of operation, guys, needs to align with the most volatile period in the day when it comes to trading these indices. Right, you're gonna have a higher probability for the most part trying to trade during New York session, right, during the period where it's volatile, as opposed to trying to trade outside of the session. So if indices is your thing, right, if you're an indice fan, if you love trading indices, then make sure you're trading in the correct hours, or make sure your hours of operation are in the correct time, okay? And I say that because there's a lot of people out there, guys, that tell you guys to, you know, align trading around your schedule, which, yeah, you have to, right? But if you can only trade during Asian session, then you're going to have to align your schedule with also a currency pair that's going to be active around that time frame, right? Because you don't want to be trading NAS 100 during an Asian session, right? It just doesn't make too much sense because you're probably not going to get as much volume that you normally could. So whatever it is that you're able to trade, whenever you're able to trade, make sure that you are aligning your hours of operation with the actual currencies or a currency pair that's going to be active around that time. So like right now, if your time to trade or if you're free and you're able to trade around Asian session or Sydney session, then trade Asian or Sydney pairs, right? Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, things like that, right? Because then at least you'll have some type of volume in the markets at those points, right? Because those banks are open, right? Which are pumping money into these markets. So that's just one nugget, guys, right? That's just something that I really got from that boy Kyle that was a bar, right? Hours of operation, treat it like a business. So make sure that your hours of operations are the same and that you actually stick with it at all costs, right? But yeah, I think now, guys, yeah, you know, looking for buys off this 12,250 looks like very, very attractive buys, right? Buys off this 12,250 looks super, super attractive here for NAS overall. Super, super attractive, right? I see we got the boy Skaggs in the building. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you. All right, so that's NAS 100, guys, right? Let's see what else we got here. Take a look at USDCAD, right? Because USDCAD is doing, again, exactly. Like, look at this, guys. Like, USDCAD, like, literally to the T. Like, this is to the T, right? Again, this is the markings that I actually did with you guys yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday's call that I actually did these markets, guys, where I told you guys I wanted to see now USDCAD go ahead and go lower. Because if we look at USDCAD from the bigger picture, look at this. All right, we've been inside of this channel, guys, literally for the past year and a half now. right? So because we had obviously the top of the channel, but you combine the top of the channel with what's even more important, the fact that the CAD also raised interest rates as well this week, right? Which was gonna give strength to the CAD, right? That's why we could have. That's why we should have expected this overall sell-off. Like this sell-off, guys, was absolutely predictable, right? Again, we're talking about a daily channel at the top of the channel, but more importantly, we're talking about the fact that a currency now, the Canadian dollar or the Bank of Canada, actually raised rates literally yesterday, which it lines up with structure, right? So when you're able to identify, guys, a fundamental catalyst like an interest rate decision, and you align that with a major level of structure, support, and resistance, or a major area of supply and demand, like those are some extremely high probability opportunities, right? So that's exactly what we pretty much just seen here, guys, with USDCAD. And that's why I said yesterday that after we seen this push, we want to wait for the pullback and then look for the continuation. Literally right here where we talked about last night. And price did exactly just that, right? So again, a beautiful play, guys, that a lot of y'all, if you guys were on last night's call, man, you guys had the play right here. All right, and it looked absolutely amazing and did just that. Now, what can we expect next now for USD CAD though? Right. Well, I think we're gonna see some more downside, at least for right now. I realistically, guys, would love to see price make its way all the way down to this level right here, like this little midpoint, right? It's around the 1.296 level, right? I think at this point we have a very good chance for this thing to actually make it down there, which is still around 100 plus pips away. So I would look to just continue to try to sell this thing, right? I would just continue to look for more downside here, guys, on USD CAD. Until we get to this midway point, and from there we just got to be patient and see what the market ultimately ends up wanting to do, right? And our decision could be based on what we expect the dollar as a whole to do. So if we can get some type of a pullback here, then that could be an opportunity to go ahead and short, all right? If we can get that pullback. It doesn't look like we're going to get it, but you never know, right? If we do get it, then at least we'll be able to go ahead and take advantage of it if it actually does end up giving it us. Right, so let's see what else we got here. That really stuck with me too. Trading your session time, yeah, very important. Like that's a very important nugget that everybody needs to understand. Trade your times, right? Your session times, and stick with it. Let's see, up 50 pips on that. Let's get it. Absolutely love it. Can you break down on AU? Yeah, I got you for sure. I got you for sure. Right, so yeah, USD CAD though, guys. I still like continuations lower. Right, so we're gonna have to just wait for a pullback. We can't do nothing right now. Wait for a pullback, and then we'll go ahead and see if we can get involved. Let's see AUDUSD. Now, AUDUSD is obviously pumping right now because it is Sydney session, right? So this is what I was talking about, guys, in terms of, if you are trading or if you can only trade during this time, right? Whether it be because you work in the mornings, you work during the mornings, you have whatever the case may be, right? Then yeah, you might want to focus on Australian dollar pairs, right? Because these are the pairs that are going to be active during this period in time. And the cool thing about the Australian dollar pairs as well, especially for all you newer traders, this is what I like to call a forgiving pair, right? Because it moves so slow. This is a very slow moving pair, guys, that actually allows newer traders to come in and actually learn how to reprice action without as much crazy movements that you experience on other more volatile pairs, right? So for anybody that's newer, I recommend learning on an AUDUSD, right? Something that's a lot more slow paced, so that you can get in the habit of learning the patterns, learning price action, reading the structure, and just getting familiarized with what these markets actually do, right? So that's a nugget, guys, right? A slow moving pair could absolutely help you out tremendously. So overall though, for AUDUSD, guys, what I think is going to happen now is we obviously are starting to see a lot of momentum to the upside. But I would like to see what price actually does, guys, when we end up coming up to this level over here. Let me actually go ahead and highlight this, right? So I want to see what price, we are getting very close to this level already, right? But I'm very interested to see what, I'll say maybe, yeah, all the way back up to here, right? Around the 0.69 level. I think we do have a good chance, guys, of making our way up to that 0.69 level. At least that's where I would like to see price make its way to, right? And I think that that's a good area for us to really find some more selling pressure from, all right? So I like that. I like that a lot. So if we are going to be able to play that, though, right, then how can we actually go ahead and get involved, though, right? If I think that my target right now, right, if I think that the overall direction of this current market for AUDUSD is to eventually make its way up to this yellow zone, right, the yellow circle, then how can I get involved, right? Well, right now we're obviously seeing AUDUSD push, but the moment that we see a pause in this, guys, and we start to actually give us a pullback, which will probably be right before London session, this can be an opportunity to get in, right? And then we could ride it out to the upside, right? So looking for a buy, guys, not right now because price is already pushing, but looking for a buy off the 0.67 level, 0.6775 level, might be super, super juicy. Right, and it could be a very, very attractive opportunity to get us a very, very good risk reward for sure. Right, so this one doesn't look too bad, guys. Right, it looks actually very good here. You know, shout out to our newest subscribers. I appreciate y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the family. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. You guys are absolute beasts for being a part of the family. Right, but again, guys, AUDUSD, you know, do not be surprised if we end up having like this little inverted head and shoulders type of play out. Right, because again, I do think, you know, we have some moves to the upside. We are seeing a sign of strength right now for the Aussie. So yeah, no, there is a good chance for price to realistically make its way back up to here, guys. So that's what I would be looking for, right? Look for the buy right back down here around the 0.67 level, 0.677. Could definitely go ahead and lead towards more upside in my opinion for sure, right? So that's actually not a bad one. I'm actually going to keep this one on my radar, guys, for sure, going into tonight, going into tomorrow, and seeing what that actually ends up doing for sure, because it does look absolutely juicy. All right, let's see what else we got here. Can you do GBPUSD? Yeah, for sure. Right, so again, look at GU, guys. Another one that we spoke about yesterday. Again, I cannot make this stuff up. If you don't believe me, go catch the replay. Right, so we did speak about this one as well, guys, and I told y'all that I was expecting a potential pullback in this market, and I wanted to look for an entry down here. Now, for this one, it literally missed by about literally half of a pip, like literally half of a pip, maybe 2 pips or so, right? But it literally came within 2 pips, guys, before it absolutely started to rebound, and now it's actually going higher. So again, another opportunity that we spoke about last night. Absolutely on fire and is doing exactly what we expected it to. But what can we expect next, right? Do we expect more upside? Well, I think there is a chance for it, right? I think there's a chance for more upside, right? I would like to see, guys, if we can realistically make our way possibly all the way back up to these levels, right? This would be absolutely juicy in my opinion, right? So if we can make our way all the way up to there, then that would be a super attractive opportunity for us to go ahead and then go short on, right? So I do think we have some more momentum to the upside, guys, for GU. So now all we got to do is look for an entry. Cool, right? Well, let's do this now, right? So if we are, and again, this is if we're going to get this pullback. Keep in mind, the overall direction is clearly to the downside, right? So we have to be able to adjust just in case, right? Just in case this market doesn't work out, we have to be aware of these things. I'm expecting the pullback just because I'm expecting the pullback in the dollar. We're also starting to see the market structure shift, right, where we went from creating this lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high to this higher low. Now we're creating this little higher high type sequence, right? So I think there's a chance for, you know, price to continue pulling back. But just keep in mind, this is a counter trend play right here, right, that we're really going to be looking for. So what you can do, just to be safe, guys, right, because we are coming up to a level of structure right now, right, is either we're going to have to wait for price to pull back down into structure to look for an opportunity to go ahead and long, right, something like this, or you can just wait for price to break this level, right, actually show a major sign of strength, and then from there we can also look for an opportunity to go ahead and go long as well, right? So 2 different plays here for GU, but I do think there is a good chance for us to go long. Now, for whatever reason, though, if the market ends up not doing it and say we end up turning around, and if we can break back below this 1.149, then I'm just going back bearish at that point. Okay, if we break below this level, at that point, I'm going to expect us now to go back into the overall trend. So then I'll just be looking for overall continuations, right? But for the meantime, right now, I'm more so looking for the buy opportunities, right? But if it doesn't work out, then I'll be aware of what to do next. But that's what I'm looking at, guys. Right now, there's nothing we can do though. You might be able to look for if you're experienced, you might be able to look for some type of a shorting opportunity up at these structure points if you know what you're reading, right? But for the most part, just to keep it simple, I would recommend just being patient for anybody that's newer, right? Just let the market actually give us some type of a pullback, and then get an opportunity to go long, right? That's what I would personally recommend, and that's what I would personally do. Wait for that pullback, and then definitely go ahead and look for some longs if possible. All right, so that's also what we're looking at for GU. All right, let's see. Shout out to Key Glock, yeah. Right, that song is fire, right? I be all about my. So I forgot how it even goes, right? But yeah, shout out to that boy Key Glock. Right, but that's what we're looking at, guys, for that pair as well. Now let's take a look at Euro AUD, right? Because Euro AUD is one I've been actually keeping my eye on, guys, for some time now, right? Well, I'm not gonna say for some time, right? But Euro AUD, guys, we've actually been talking about this for the past couple of days now, and I've been telling y'all that I've been expecting this thing to turn around, right? Like I really do want to see this thing roll over, but it has just continued to go higher. But I think we're at a level right now, guys, right? I think we're at a point right now where Euro AUD does have a really, really good opportunity to see, lower pricing, right? I think there's a good chance for us to absolutely, target all the way down to these lows, right? So looking for some shorts, guys, is probably not a bad play. I would be looking for a nice opportunity to get involved back up at this supply zone up here. Yeah,
I'm all about my money, baby. I get money,
baby.
Yeah, I'm all about my money, baby. I get money, baby.
For sure, right? If we can get price back up here, I really do like the sell opportunity here for Euro AUD. Okay, so this is another one, guys, I'm keeping my eyes on for tonight as well, and we're gonna see what happens, right? But I do think there is a good chance for us to reverse. I just want to get an entry from up here, right? So keep your eyes on this one. I know I'm setting this trade. I'm risking 2% on it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and deal with the consequences afterwards, right? Depending on what actually happens. But yeah, that's where we're at for this one, guys, as well. Does look very juicy, though. I'll be honest with y'all. Euro AUD is setting up nicely, right? So keep your eyes on it if you like it. All right, so there's that as well, guys, right? Let's take a look at Bitcoin now, cryptos. All right, so what we got here, right? For Bitcoin, overall, the market has just been pulling back some, right? But same concept, guys. If the dollar is going to become weak, then there's a good chance that Bitcoin actually does gain some strength overall. So what I think can actually happen, guys, overall for Bitcoin right now, I would love to see this thing possibly rebound, come back up to these levels. I would say, where's my tool? Here we go. Right, I would say back up to this level right here, which is the 22,000 level. But then from there, just continue going bearish. All right, just continue going lower. So for right now, though, man, like, I would love to see this thing rebound. Obviously, we're going to have to break this level first before any of that, but I think there is a good chance for us to break this, rebound, and then go ahead and see higher pricing for sure. All right, so that one looks pretty juicy as well, guys. Obviously, I personally don't like trading cryptos. It's just me. All right, I don't really trade cryptos too often. I'd rather just invest into it for the long term, but that's pretty much just my outlook for Bitcoin. Let's see. Hi, sorry, connect late. Did you go over gold? I did actually go over gold. All right, so gold itself, again, very simple on what I was talking about for gold. I think we can experience more upside for gold. All right, so I would like to see gold come back to the 1714 and then give us an opportunity to go ahead and go long on. All right, so this is my bias here for gold, guys, right? What I would like to see. I would like to see a pushback down to the 1714 and then go ahead and ride it up to the highs up here that we have. All right, something like that. Simple play here on gold, guys, but that's really what I think gold can potentially do for sure. I want to see more upside for gold. Let's see. Can you look at NZD/USD? Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the gold that you want to look at. Let's take a look at NZD/USD. I think this is going to be very similar, guys, to my bias on AUDUSD overall, right? Because these are pretty much like cousins, all right? Like literally, they're like cousins. So similar concept for NZD/USD. Right, we are seeing a sign of strength right now overall, right? But I don't want to. There's nothing I can do right here. Price is already moving. If we can see a pullback down, maybe to around the 0.605 level, right? Then we can get an opportunity to go ahead and ride this thing higher, right? I want to see price make its way all the way back up to this level. This would be my target. All right, this looks, again, this does look pretty good as well, guys, right? Looks pretty juicy, right? So something like this for NZD USD, target up to these highs. Yeah, not a bad looking play here. All right, not a bad looking setup. All right, but that's what I'll be looking for, guys, right? Just seeing if price can pull back down, then to go ahead and ride that up. And if price ends up running this low, we get stopped out. It is what it is. Accept it, and then we'll go ahead and reverse it and actually go ahead and continue in the overall bearish trend that we technically have been in. Right now, it's just the city of pullbacks. Right, remember that, right? For right now, guys, the way I'm approaching the markets, it's the time of pullbacks right now, right? I'm looking at it at a way where everything is a counter trend setup right now, right? So we do have to keep that in mind, and we do have to be very cautious about that, right? Normally, if you are counter trend trading, guys, depending on obviously your experience, right? Because there's people that only counter trend trade, right? I know reversal traders that are actually successful, right? That only catch counter trends, but it is very hard to do, right? You'll have a higher probability, guys, of staying with the trend as opposed to trying to catch a counter trend. Okay, so yeah, this markets are giving us counter trends, so just, you know, if you need to, lower your risk even more, right? If you need to, lower your risk if you have to, right? But yeah, these are the setups, guys, that I'm pretty much very interested in going into tonight to pretty much finish out the week, right? Because tomorrow is Friday, so the week is about to end. This week went by pretty quick, right? I mean, pretty much every week has been going by very quickly lately, right? But yeah, this is gonna be the last few setups, guys, that we have for the week, so we'll see ultimately what ends up happening for sure. Right, but family, besides that, man, any other questions? Right, we went through this one pretty quickly today. Right, but what are you guys feeling like, guys? What are you guys feeling like? Any questions, comments, or concerns that you guys might have? Right, any other pairs that you guys want analyzed? Let me know in the chats, and we'll definitely go ahead and get into that so I can continue to provide you guys with massive value. Let's see, AU buys might sync with EA sells. Yeah, it definitely looks like they could sync for sure. Right, for sure, it looks like they could sync. Let's see, thank you for your outlook. I appreciate you, Aaron. Question, do you think it is wise to use limits or market entry? It really depends on you, right? Are you actually able to sit in front of your computer and wait for that right entry? Right, then because if you can, and if you can control your emotions, then yeah, do market execution, right? Wait for the right entry, get a better risk to reward that way. But if you can't control your emotions, or you're just a busy person, you don't have too much time, then you're gonna have to rely on pending orders. You're gonna have to rely on limit orders, right? For me, guys, when I first started, I used to work at a warehouse, right? So I was literally doing 10 to 12-hour days, literally from 6:30 in the morning all the way to 6 at night. I was at the warehouse, right? So I kind of had to rely on pending orders in order for me to actually be able to be, you know, to trade and get the best opportunities, right? So trust me, it's possible. But that's what I had to do because I really didn't have that much time, right? But it really just depends on you. Let's see. What's your word of wisdom for the day? The word of wisdom is, I mean, it's very cliche, right, at the end of the day, but you got to understand you're learning a whole new language when it comes to trading. So you got to just really, really make that commitment to go long-term with this, right? I always say this all the time, guys, right? There's two decisions that, you know, every trader really has, right? The decision that they want to start trading, and then the decision that they're actually going to take this thing very seriously and go all in on it, right? Most people make the decision to start trading, but they never make the decision to actually go ahead and take this thing extremely seriously, right? And there's even probably some of you guys on this call right now that are thinking that you guys are being serious, but yeah, you're still over leveraging, right? But yeah, you're still not being disciplined, right? But yeah, you're still doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing, right? So how serious can you really be, right? So again, figure out what day you're on, right? Yeah, all of us on this call, we clearly all made the decision that we want to trade, but there's still a big portion of y'all that have not truly made that real commitment, right? To actually really do this, to actually be disciplined, to actually follow your rules. Okay, so just make that decision, all right? Make that decision to actually be committed, and, you know, just stick with it long enough, and it will make sense. Everything will play out. Let's see. Can I ask what pair to trade for West Coasters? Blessing. Yeah, 20 pips. Shout out to you, man. AUDUSD. I mean, you're still gonna want to trade New York session, London session, right? Those are the two most volatile currency, or not currency, but those are the two best sessions to actually trade, right? London session and New York session. So even if you're on the West Coast, East Coast, overseas, realistically, you want to try your best to actually trade during those periods of time. Now, if you just can't for whatever reason, then yeah, you're gonna have to adjust to around the session that you're able to trade, right? But it really doesn't matter where you're at; you gotta just adjust. Let's see. These markets not looking clear to me, to be honest. I'm waiting on the rates to come out. I expect 100 points. They might be aggressive. Powell was BS yesterday. If they actually raised it 100 basis points, then that's really, really gonna shake the markets tremendously. Right, like that would be crazy if they did that. I doubt that they're gonna do it, because that would be nuts, right? That would probably realistically, really tell. And this is the thing that the Federal Reserve is dealing with, right? Obviously, they're trying to combat inflation, through raising rates, but they also can't be too aggressive, because if they are too aggressive, then it's really gonna send us into a crazier recession. Right, so they're pretty much trying to tread on water right now, and it's very tough for them to actually win right now. I personally don't see a win-win out of this at all. It's like a lose-lose situation for the Fed. So yeah, I'm just glad I'm not Jerome Powell. Let's see, Jerome Powell be talking sometimes. Yeah, he really do. Let's see, SPX 500 if you can. Yeah, I got you. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So for me, I think we're going to continue seeing some more bullishness, guys, overall for all the indices, right? I want to see more upside. I would love to see if we can, get back up to these levels for SPX around the 4100. All right, so that's probably what I'll be looking for opportunities to go ahead and get us up into that 4100 level. So where can we look for opportunities from to actually get in? Well, probably a retest back down to these lows would be good. Right, something like this could be super attractive here for SPX 500. Yeah, something like that could be very, very good. I think there's a really, really good chance for price to give us something like this for sure, guys. All right, so let's see. If crude oil is lowering, does that mean potential bearish movement for CAD? I mean, it could lead to that. But I think that the CAD is actually going to be. I still think the CAD is very strong no matter what. All right, but yeah, any movement that does happen for oil could absolutely have an effect for CAD for sure, right? It definitely can. Let's see. What about US 30? Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be very, very similar, guys, to pretty much what I just looked at with these under ones, right? Again, very similar. I think we are right now in the middle of pullback season. Right, so I want to see a pullback continue here, guys, for US 30. I think that there is a good chance for price to realistically make its way up to this 32,500 level. All right, so from there, I'll look to buy all the way up to there, and then from there, I'm gonna be looking for some more shorts. All right, again, it's pullback season. It is pullback season right now, right? So, similar concept, looks pretty much damn near identical, guys, to NAS and the S&P, but something like this could be an opportunity to go ahead and get involved, right? Look to buy around the 31.5 level, 31,500 could be super attractive for US 30. Let's see, how to recognize if we are in the middle of a reversal, continuation, etc., right? That's a great question, by the way, right? Very simply put, the way that I identify a reversal and a continuation and things like that is by understanding what the overall sentiment still is. Right, because the sentiment is the overall biggest picture, right? That's telling me what the overall current flow of the actual market is, right? But let's go take a look at EURUSD for this example as I break this down, right? So sentiment for me, guys, is going to continue to expect bearishness, right, for the euro. Now the question that you ask is, all right, so how do we know? How can we expect when the market is either going to continue? Is it going to reverse, right? When can we expect a pullback to come in? And I think that's the better question, right? Especially when we're in the middle of a trend. When can we expect maybe a pullback? Well, you have to really start to identify structure and read price action. Read price action, right? After a strong move, guys, you already know we're eventually going to find some type of support, some type of structure, right? So you want to look to the left. We're going to have to go higher time frame for this, right? But you're going to want to look to the left. And as you look to the left, guys, you're going to start to find levels of structure to the left. Right, and when you identify these levels of structure to the left, guys, all you do is when you go to lower time frame, you start to read what price action is actually doing. right? So we know, again, I'm gonna make this bigger. I'm gonna make this a lot thicker just so you guys can really see it, right? This big black line down here, right? That is that big support level, guys, that I just drew on the higher time frame. So when I'm looking at this level, and if I'm trying to identify whether the market is gonna actually reverse from here, or if we were actually gonna continue, well, for one, I read price action at the support to identify if we're gonna continue or if we're actually gonna reverse. And looking at this type of price action, guys, and looking at this type of price action all day, right, where price came down, was creating lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Like it was, creating all these lower lows and lower highs, but we weren't going nowhere, right? So all of these bearish pushes really weren't doing nothing. And then it came the move that I was really interested in, or that really caught my attention, right? After all these moves in here, we seen a nice strong big push, right? A nice strong reaction from this low, right? So whenever we are trading, guys, below a level of support, okay, this is the support. Whenever we actually go ahead and break below the support, see, now we're testing, guys, to see if we're gonna find demand at that level, right? And whenever we do find demand and we have evidence of it that leads to a break of structure, that is the clue telling us of what we can expect next, which is usually a continuation of that correction that we're actually seeing, right? So again, it really just comes down to reading price action, reading momentum around these key levels, right? Are we seeing big pushes around that level? Are we seeing the demand for an asset or currency pick up? Yes or no? Right? So yeah, we've seen a very strong pickup here, a very strong reaction out of these lows. So that was telling us what we were going to continue to expect moving forward, right? So the easiest way, understand what the overall sentiment is, just to make sure you're aware of what the bigger trend is. But then you're going to have to go to lower time frame and start to read what structure is saying. Right? Start to read what price action is saying. Alright, so that's pretty much where that is. Let's see. The sooner you make decisions, the better. I agree. Any thoughts on leverage, right? So leverage is a double-edged sword, right? Because leverage can benefit you. It can allow you to obviously place, trades that that can really grow your account tremendously. But it can also cause you to absolutely blow your account too very quickly, right? So what I recommend for newer traders, everybody's going to want to go straight to the 500 leverage, but the 500 leverage is probably too much leverage for a lot of you guys, and that's probably why you keep on blowing your accounts, because the leverage is so high, it allows you to place way too big of a lot size. Guys, lower your leverage, right? If there is one thing I could give you as a gem on, a nugget, especially if you know that your issue is your greed or the fact that you constantly over leverage, lower your leverage. If you know you over leverage a lot and that's your one issue that's stopping you from seeing success, lower your leverage so you stop that. At least get it a little bit better under control. All right, so I recommend 200 leverage, not the whole 500. I would say around 200 leverage, guys, is normally pretty decent for newer traders, because you're still able to actually place trades, but it's not going to allow you to go too crazy, right? It's not going to allow you to over leverage your account like using 500 leverage would, right? So, that's just a nugget in itself, guys, when it comes to leverage, right? It is a double-edged sword. Let's see, Abel, so patient. God bless you and your family. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Let's see, unemployment isn't too high, so that may give them an incentive. It really could. Let's see, Euro messed up. They started raising rates late. It messed up their economy. They should have been done that. Like, I'm more a swing trader, so market is very hard to trade. Been getting clapped. Go profit and break even. Trust me, Eric. I could definitely relate, right? Because normally I'm more of a swing trader as well, right? Day trader, swing trader. I like to get into a position, which for Euro, it's been phenomenal, right? Obviously, riding out the Euro over the long term itself. But yeah, there is a lot of choppiness that happens though in between these trends, right? Where I've been experiencing a crap ton of break evens, a crap ton of trades just keep on stopping me out at break even. So what I did is I actually adjusted, right? I actually stopped riding out or attempting to ride out too many long swing trade moves, and I'm just grabbing, getting in and getting out, right? I'm grabbing what the market gives me, whether it's 30, 50, 100 pips, and I'm getting the hell out. I'm not just riding it, just to try to ride it like I used to. But it's all about adjusting at the end of the day. Let's see, guys, which leverage best suits $50 to $100 account? Well, with that type of account for only 50 to 100, you're probably going to have higher leverage, just because you're not going to be able to place too much of a trade. But I would still say, you know, try to keep it around 300, 200, 300 leverage if you can. Right? And if you just can't place a trade because the leverage is too small, then go ahead and up it if you need to, right? But yeah, just be careful with that leverage, guys, right? It is a double-edged sword. Let's see. Can we look at pound Aussie? For sure. Let's go take a look at pound Aussie. All right, so again, pound Aussie, guys, is doing pretty much exactly what we expected too, right? This is another one, guys, that I told you guys last week, and I told you guys, I believe, this week too, just because of, you know, my opinion on the Aussie, because the Aussie actually raised rates today, or not today, but the Australian dollar, guys, they actually did end up raising their rates this week as well. I was expecting Aussie strength, right? So I told you guys as well that pound Aussie was another one that we can expect more downside on, and it's finally now starting to actually move. So how can we take advantage of this though? Well, if we can see a pullback, guys, up to this 1.70 level, then absolutely we could look for some moves lower. All right, I would love to go ahead and short this thing all day long off of this. All day long, no questions asked. All right, so if we can, yeah, if we can go ahead and see a push back up to this, guys, then for pound Aussie, then I really do like to sell all day long. Right, but we got to be patient. You know, again, this move is already happening, but, you know, if we can pull up, the moment we pull up, just be ready to go ahead and look for that short. I like it. I think we have more downside. We have been you know, we have been bearish for a little bit, so it just makes so much sense for this to go ahead and continue. Right, so something like that, guys, can be a nice opportunity here for GA. Do you still implement trading range along with your supply and demand strategy? 100%, Rodney. 1,000%, right? The trading range, guys, is pretty much what's going to help us identify the extreme highs and the extreme lows. And normally, you can identify those major levels of supply and demand around those extreme highs and those extreme lows. Let's see, then the subs coming in back to back. Yeah, shout out to all the subscribers, man. I appreciate every single one of you guys for subscribing with me today. Hopefully you guys are subscribing because you guys have gotten some type of value so far. And if you have gotten value, then go ahead and prove it by smashing the like button, guys. It definitely means a lot to me for you guys smashing the like button, because it just helps the video actually get discovered by a lot more people. All right, so definitely go ahead and smash the like button if you guys have not done so just yet. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate y'all for doing so. Let's see what else we got here, right? The subscription notification sound drowns out what you say. Let me see. Forgot what you're talking about, Mario. Let's see. GJ is consolidating. Would love to see a retest, retrace to take it long. Very tough right now to buy at the high. Yeah, GJ's at like a no trade zone for me. All right, GJ's at a no trade zone right now, because I do not want to buy at these highs after such a strong move, but I also don't want to sell because I don't want to sell against this momentum. All right, so GJ's at a no trade clause for me, which is very unfortunate, right? Because, you know, you guys know what we pretty much dealt with, right? We literally dealt with an entire month, like literally an entire month, guys, right, of straight sideways price action waiting for the move, right? So it took us literally an entire month to wait for a move that only lasted 3 days. How unfortunate, right? like that is extremely unfortunate. Right, that we were waiting an entire month for a move that lasted only 3 days once we actually did finally end up breaking out. But now, guess what? We got to go back into that period of actually waiting to see what this thing actually wants to do next, right? So, in my opinion, we're at a no trade land. I'm at a no trade clause or a no trade land here for GJ, guys, right? If we see some type of break, then maybe we could catch something, but even then, it's going to be a little risky. All right, so that's where we're at for GJ. There's nothing that I like about it right now. I'm chilling. I'm on the sidelines for GJ right now. All right, let's go look at AUD Yen, right? So, again, Aussie strength has been dominating. Aussie strength, guys, is exactly what we've been expecting, and it is absolutely dominating right now across the board. So, I think there's going to be a lot more upside here. All right, I do want to see more continuations, guys, here for Aussie. Yen is just, again, you know, just like all these other moves, they're already extended, right? There's nothing we can do right now. They're already moved. But if we can experience some type of a pullback down into this 97 level, that can be an opportunity, guys, for us to go ahead and look for more upside for sure. All right, for sure for AJ, right? But I'm still expecting, guys, Australian strength for sure, especially against the Japanese yen, I see Crazy A. We woke up, saw 400 pips pump. It happened though. You put us on it. Got stuck out 4 times. So was taking shots at the low. Yeah, Eric. Yo, it's crazy, right? I took numerous attempts at GJ to try to buy that thing, and I got stopped out a bunch of times. And the one time I don't actually pay attention to it is the time that it actually starts flying, right? So it happens though, right? It is what it is. Super frustrating, but it is what it is, right? But yeah, you know, AJ guys, I'm still expecting more upside as well for this. Right, but family, besides that, just a few little last minute announcements, guys. Please, if you guys are not a part of the Profit Society waiting list, please make sure to go ahead and get a part of the waiting list, guys. We are launching a new trading platform, a new trading community. It's low-key a trading social media platform for every single one of you guys, and we're gonna be doing a beta. We're gonna be doing a beta test, guys, with just probably around maybe 50 of you guys at the beginning, just so that we could test out the platform. And we're going to be choosing that 50 out of the people that's on the wait list, right? So if you actually want to get, you know, exclusive access, guys, to what we're about to launch, if you want to be in way before everybody else, like literally 2-3 weeks before everybody else, to test it out and just pretty much give us the okay that everything is good, then make sure to be on the wait list, right? We're going to be choosing people very, very soon to actually test out the platform. So it's going to be pretty dope, you know. And anybody that does end up becoming a beta tester, you're going to be able to get access to the platform, guys, obviously at a much cheaper discount, and you're also going to get a bunch of little perks as well as maybe like moderators for the community and things like that. But so overall, make sure you get on the wait list, guys. Super important. You know, we are going to create one of the best communities in the entire world when it comes to trading, and it's because we're being, you know, we have some phenomenal educators on deck, guys, that are absolutely going to do their thing. So that's the first thing, right? The second thing as well is make sure to be a part of my Telegram. If you guys are not a part of my Telegram, guys, very important. I drop a lot of my updates in there. Realistically, I use this Telegram as like my journal. You know, I pretty much just talk my mind in there, right? Sometimes 90% of the times it's about trading and entrepreneurship, and mindset and all those stuff. And then there's, you know, some other times where it's more so just random things, right? But for the most part, guys, make sure to be a part of the Telegram as well, so you guys can be updated on anything relating to me. And also, if you guys are interested, guys, in learning how I trade personally, and if you want to take your trading to a whole nother level, completely guaranteed that your trading will go up to a whole nother level, then go ahead and consider actually purchasing my 5-day ProTrader Bootcamp video series, right? Where it's literally 5 days, guys, of straight sauce and straight value. And I know for a fact, if you actually go ahead and take the bootcamp, your trading will improve tremendously. And I would literally put my money where my mouth is when I say that, right? So, family, if you want it, the link is in the description. Go ahead and actually get access to that. Anybody that does actually purchase the actual bootcamp videos, guess what? You also get added into a private community, right? So I do have a community, guys, strictly with all my bootcamp students, so that we can all communicate on a daily basis. Now, I am going to be hosting a call for everybody tomorrow in the bootcamp, right? So everybody that is a part of the bootcamp, that has taken the bootcamp, guys, that is in the actual Telegram, be aware, because I will be sending out a registration form, right? Probably tonight and then tomorrow. But tomorrow, guys, we will be hosting a weekly call tomorrow just to go ahead and break down some more value. And it's going to be mainly for you guys in the bootcamp series, right? So it will be on Zoom. It's not going to be on YouTube. It will be on Zoom call. So please look forward to that, because we will be dropping that. I will be providing you guys with massive value tomorrow. Private setting, strictly for all my bootcamp students, because I love y'all, I appreciate y'all, and I want to make sure that you guys are good and good to go, right? So that's pretty much where we're at, guys. So I do appreciate every single one of y'all. Without y'all, I would not be able to do this. We are still very much hawkish, Eric, right? What, you know, Jerome Powell and them said yesterday, is not going to change overall the course of what their actions are. They're still very much hawkish. But family, I do appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much for rocking with me today, right? Go ahead and take advantage of the ProTrader Bootcamp. Just a little hint, the coupon code for 15% off is still valid, right? I know I said I was going to remove it, but I want to give you guys more chances, right? So the coupon code for 15% off, guys, is still very much valid. Go ahead and use it, right? If you want 15% off, the code is Labor Day, right? Coupon code is Labor Day. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you guys all a little bit later. Let's get it. Have a great rest of your guys' night.
NA